Ito ang Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang naiba at kakaibang plataporma sa digital broadcast. Mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao hanggang sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang sandigan ng sambayanan mula sa walang labis at walang kulang na pagbabalita, paglilingkod, maglalahad ng mga mapagbuong komentaryo at usaping pambayan para sa kapakanan ng karamihan. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, tuwirang maglilingkod ngayon hanggang sa susunod na henerasyon. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techiemommy, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hello, happy Wednesday everyone! Happy Wednesday. Medyo po tumigil na yung ulan dito sa amin sa Pampanga, but I heard it's signal number 3 in some areas po. Mag-ingat po sa bagyo. And of course, yesterday po, ng mga 1 o'clock ng hapon, dineclare din na no classes sa buong Metro Manila sa NCR po. That was declared yesterday afternoon as I was given the information by Miss Angelica Paz. Tsaka I think wala pa rin pong pasok today pero medyo sumisilip ng konti pero hindi naman araw. It's still cloudy, it's still gloomy out. So wala pong pasok pa rin sa mga ibang places pero yung mga ano daw po, I think government offices or yung mga kailangan, of course, mga services na kailangan po ay may pasok. So I don't know lang kasi I don't know the situation in Manila kung umuulan ng malakas. But here in Pampanga, hindi naman po. I think wala naman signal number 1 ba dito? I don't think so. But signal number 3 in certain areas as I saw kanina a glimpse of that bit of news. But, yep. Of course, ang pinaka-importanting news that we are talking about is the resumption of school, yung pong pagbalik eskwela po ng mga bata nitong nakaraang Monday. Ayan po, alright? Philippine classrooms reopened after more than 2 years po. Totoo naman. 2 taon po na more than 2 years po talaga. 2.5 years that hindi nakapasok sa real campus ang mga bata from all levels, right? But as we said, okay, it's still not 100%, okay? Millions of children in the Philippines returned to school as the academic year started po on Monday, with many taking their seats in their classrooms for the first time since the COVID-19 outbreak hit the Philippines, or the world, okay? The Philippines is one of the last countries in the world to resume full-time in-person lessons. Totoo naman po, longest lockdown, sabi nga nila eh. Sparking warnings that the prolonged closure of classrooms had worsened an education crisis in the country. Totoo po ito because marami pong mga bata na supposedly po nagmo-module or nag-aaral sa bahay, hindi naman po sila nakapag-aral. Kaya iisipin nyo na lang anong nalalaman nito mga batang babalik sa school because they were not studying. Nung umpisa lang po, tutor yung mga magulang. Pero like we said, not all parents are capable of teaching their children. So, yung iba kumuha ng tutor. Pero what ended up po is yung mga tutor ang gumagawa ng homework. So, hindi talaga po natuto yung mga bata nitong past 2.5 years. So, talaga yung education po talaga nag-suffer nitong crisis na itong pandemic na to. Okay? Children in masks and uniforms lined up for a temperature check. Ayan po, nakikita nyo sa yan ginagawa nila. Nakalinya po nung Monday, nakahilera para i-check yung temperature because nag-face-to-face po tayo, but we're observing certain health protocols, of course, to avoid the spread of the virus, which we expect to happen sa pagbabalik eskwela ng mga bata, especially mga bata po. Hindi nyo maiwasan yung mga bata, ibaba yung mask nila eh. Lalo na yung maliliit na yan, yung mga little children, they will be playful. They will touch each other, maghahabulan. Hindi nyo maiwasan po yun, no? So, we expect a surge or a spread of the virus situation dahil po sa face-to-face na to, no? Children and mass, so yan po, lining up for temperature check and squirt of hand sanitizer. So yan po ang protocol doon, mag-temperature check sila, tapos mag-hand sanitizer. Ito po sa Pedro Guevara Elementary School in Manila, which had shut classrooms since March 2020. The school has adopted a hybrid system of in-person and remote learning as it transitions its nearly 6,000 students back to face-to-face classes by November. Ito po ang deadline na sinet ng ating Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Actually, si Vice President Sara Duterte ang nag-suggest nito soon after they took office 2 months ago. Okay? Grade 6 student Sofia Makahilig said she was excited to meet her classmates and teachers after 2 years of Zoom lessons. Diba? Social naman sila. Nag-Zoom lessons sila, diba? We used to have fun and now I can have fun again. Itong sinabi ng 11 years old na si Makahilig. But many students have a lot of catching up to do. Like sinasabi ko, yung mga hindi naman talagang nag-aral, nag-review, itong 2 taon na to na tutor ang gumagawa ng homework. Even before the pandemic, 9 out of 10 Filipino children could not read, okay, a simple text with comprehension by age 10. Where the World Bank and other agencies said this in a recent report, okay? Only 10 countries were worse off, including Afghanistan, Laos, Chad, and Yemen. Okay, after Philippine schools closed, okay, a blended learning program was established involving online classes, yung printed materials, yung modular, no? And lessons broadcast on television and social media. Ito po na-introduce din. As face-to-face classes resume, mga lumang problema po ay naglabasan, okay? Old problems persist. Large class sizes, napakadaming estudyante, maliit ang classroom, kulang sa classroom, outdated teaching methods, o yung mga lumang ways ng pagtuturo, poverty and lack of basic infrastructure. Yan po ang mga naging problema, such as yung mga toilets, di ba? Dapat, tapos yung para mo gawing sanitary, yun nga, yung mga alcohol, di ba? Kung wala silang budget, pumili ng alcohol, na sanitizer na pwede mong gamitin araw-araw. That's an endless supply, right? So, they have been blamed for contributing to the education crisis, all right? Pedro Guevara science teacher Ethel Tumanan, 32, said she was worried that students had missed out on valuable learning over the past 2 years. Yes, she has reason to worry because it's true. The quality of education deteriorated, and because napunta nga sa magulang yung responsibility ng pagturo sa mga homeschool or online, naging parang homeschool nga, yung online learning, whether may internet ka o hindi, naapektuhan naman talaga, Oops. That's why, we can't discount the fact na nangyari yan, okay? Dahil sa pandemic na yan. Talaga naman yung quality na education, valuable learning talaga has been affected. As a teacher, sabi ni Miss Ethel Tumanan, we really prefer face-to-face. At least we are the ones who can gauge and assess where our pupils are at, or monitor nila yung progress. In the lead up to the reopening of classrooms, the government has been ramping up a vaccination drive and will provide students with free public transport until the end of the calendar year. Wow, okay. Welcome people to the show. Magandang umaga po. Welcome po sa Buhay Online. I cannot see your names as usual. Pasensya na po. But whoever's watching, maraming salamat. Happy Wednesday to you. Okay, so on Saturday po, the government began handing out cash aid to students and parents struggling to cover expenses, leading to chaotic scenes outside distribution centers. Ayun po yung nagkagulong ayuda na binigay, no? In the city of Zamboanga, 29 people were injured when several thousands tried to push through the gate of a high school. Yan po, nako, diba? Ayan po yung nangyari. Alright, so in that connection naman, okay, we will, itong DepEd po, sandali lang po. And on this note, the DepEd, palitan ko lang yung ano ko. Alright, so there you go. Umpisa na yung school. Ito naman po, alright? DepEd tops enrollment target, okay? Ayan po. Umabot na tayo po sa target nating enrollment, okay? According to the DepEd. So marami naman talaga nag-enroll. It turns out that the number of basic education students who enrolled this year has exceeded, okay? Has exceeded the, ano ba nangyari? Hold on, please. Sensya na yung computer ko, nagloloko. Okay? It turns out that the number of basic education students who enrolled this school year has exceeded the Department of Education's target, 28.6 million na target po, as well as the turnout from the previous year. According to the agency's data released po kahapon, okay? A total of 28,797,660 had registered for the school year 2022-2023, 1.2 million higher than last year's 27.5 million. Earlier data from DepEd showed only 27.69 million enrollees, which was initially short of its target. Yan po yung sinabi natin ng isang araw, short pa sa enrollment. Yung pala, Calabarzon had the highest number at 3.9 million, followed by Central Luzon at 2.9 million, and the National Capital Region at 2.7 million. DepEd spokesperson Michael Poa had said on Monday that late enrollees could still be accepted. So may mga humahabol pa po, no? Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte declared the opening of classes a victory for basic education. Benjo Basas, chair of the Teachers Dignity Coalition, or the TDC, affirmed that the first day of school was generally peaceful and smooth. Nasa Manila po ako noon nagbukas ng pasukan ng Monday at yung mayroon po mga eskwela sa tabi ng bahay na tinutuluyan ko sa Quezon City and parang orderly naman po ang pag-umpisa ng pasok. Kaya lang, yung makikita mo yung mga batang maliliit na umiiyak kasi parang first day of school, okay? He said coordination between the local governments, communities, police, and parents played a big role, okay? But he also noted the perennial problems expected, like the lack of classrooms, chairs, and teachers, especially in specialized learning areas like kindergarten, special education, and senior high school. He also pointed out that the classes that were held in the school's indoor courts, the learning and teaching process might not be properly done in situations like these. It's even more difficult for the grade levels gravely affected by the 2 years of distant learning. Ito pang sinabi ni Basas, referring to the primary grades of kindergarten to grade 3. Sabi pa ni Basas, his group urged DepEd immediately to hire new teachers, okay? And non-teaching personnel para makatulong po sa staffing kasi nga kulang po. Pwede pang may mga assistant teacher na pwede rin magturo, di ba po? Dapat po to build more classrooms, provide more equipment like laptops, ensure internet connectivity, and look after the health and safety of the student and the teachers. While the teachers are ready to sacrifice and offer service that is more than what is expected of them, this should not be the norm in the government. Yan po naman ang sinabi ng TDC, okay? Meanwhile po, ang Department of Health or DOH commended the adherence among schools' COVID-19 health protocols. Yan po, most of them ay followed and ensured that yung kanila pong eskwela ay may sanitizer, hand sanitizer, may pangkuha ng temperature, no? Pero like I said, hindi po lahat na punuan kasi nga po walang budget pang bili ng mga items na yon. Sana tulungan po ng kanilang mga LGU. Based on what we saw yesterday, we saw in totality that almost all schools, okay, that opened and the students went to school followed the protocols. Almost all, hindi man sinasabing 100%. Health Undersecretary and DOH Officer in Charge, Maria Rosario Vergere, said in her press briefing on Tuesday, okay? She advised against the holding of simultaneous extracurricular activities to prevent crowding in the campuses. Tama, wag na muna yung mga activities that encourages a crowd, okay? The DOH also suggested that DepEd could designate safety officers who will conduct health screenings and implement COVID-19 protocols. Dapat may mga mag-school to school din mag-check di ba? Education Undersecretary Epemaco Densing III said teachers may act as safety officers in their classrooms. They already know what to do when a student exhibits symptoms. They should automatically send them home and shift to online learning. Okay? Tama. So, kung habang pwede pa yung online learning, no? Yun na nga, pagka merong may sakit, pauwiin na, I mean, depending on how grave the situation is, diba, para doon na magpagaling. Okay? They should, sabi nila, they should automatically send them home and shift to online learning temporarily until the student recovers and is cleared of COVID-19. Tama lang naman yun, okay? So despite the shortage of classes, it was an orderly opening of classes po nung Monday, no? Sa traffic situation, of course, normal na lang traffic. But the first day of classes was orderly, peaceful, despite reports of overcrowding and, of course, shortage of classrooms, all right? The first day of classes was very orderly and very peaceful. Pero yun nga, but not without issues. Siyempre, merong mga aberya, okay? In the initial assessment of the Department of Education, yung DepEd, based on the reports submitted by its regional directors, the opening of the school year 2022-2023 went smoothly despite concerns that have already been addressed na paulit-ulit by respective schools, such as nga yung overcrowding, shortage of classrooms in places where there were face-to-face classes, okay? Maayos naman ang pagbabalik eskwela natin yesterday. It was very orderly. It was very peaceful. Ito pong sinabi ni DepEd spokesperson Michael Poa in an interview over ABS-CBN news channel. Okay, this has been addressed by strategies employed by our different schools by using shifting schedules and blended learning mode. Yun nga, effective po yan kasi po, hindi po 100% na back to school na face-to-face. Meron po nagbe-blended learning pa rin. Meaning po, yun, combination ng online learning, tsaka yung modular learning, tsaka yung pag-homeschool, no? Na ibang, tsaka yung mga ibang magulang hindi pa po pinapayagan pumasok yung mga anak nila. So there's still a small percentage of parents who are hesitant to have their children go back to school. Yun mga nag-o-opt ng homeschooling. Okay? No untoward incidents naman were reported. Wala pong mga weird occurrences or serious occurrences, okay? There were issues on overcrowding, of course, at saka sa mga magulang na nagrereklamo, syempre. One of the reasons being requested for ang nire-request po yung mga enrollment certificates. Aside from that, it was an orderly back to school nationwide. Ito pong sinabi ni Poa via Viber message that he sent, okay, to the publication. Earlier, Poa said that school opening for school year 2022-2023, okay, was hitch-free. Well, hindi mo masasabi talagang hitch-free kasi nga may mga concerns pa na yan na hindi naman na-address na tapos nagbukas na ng eskwela. Meron pa talagang mga kulang ang classroom, di ba? Kulang yung pangbili ng sanitation facilities, diba? This DepEd earlier proposed an 86.5 billion budget for 2023 for the construction of classrooms. Ayan po, nag-alat na po ng budget sa sinasabi kong yan na kulang na mga classrooms. This could build 34,552 schools in first to sixth class municipalities. Okay, POA even said that the amount is still on appeal with the Department of Budget and Management for around 85.9 billion. Okay, the amount we are proposing is something that we think is doable. We're not trying to propose something that we cannot do in a year. It is now an appeal for around 85.9 billion because we are still negotiating with the DBM. Okay? Another concern na sinabi ng DepEd, okay, was also the deluge, okay, of parents that went to the schools along with their children. Yung mga magulang na naghatid at sumama sa kanilang mga anak, either to accompany their children or to get documentary requirements for the financial aid given by the DSWD, or the Department of Social Welfare and Development. POA, however, said that DepEd was anticipating such issues and challenges on the opening of class and it was ready to address it. Okay? When the DepEd said it was ready to open classes, it didn't mean na wala tayong magiging problema. Diba? Talaga naman, we won't have any problem. We were anticipating talaga challenges, but we are Filipinos, we are resilient, we will overcome, and we will not break. So, we just need to bring our kids back to school. Kapit-bisig po tayo para sa ligtas na pagbabalik eskwela ng mga learners. Okay? So, yan po ang nangyari, no? So, alright. Okay? Ayun, okay? So on this note, okay, we go back to our subject matter for the day. Kaya lang, meron po akong news muna, no? Regarding Singapore. Yeah. Okay, di ba kasi we had gender equality discussion the other day, nung Monday, right? Pero ngayon, I have something to I used to say that Singapore is to repeal colonial era law against gay sex. Okay? Singapore, this is coming from the Prime Minister. Okay? Okay, coming from the Prime Minister. Dali nga. Hold on. I will just show you guys. Hold on, please. Okay. I'm just gonna put it up. Pasensya na po. Okay, I'm just gonna put it up. Hold on, please. Sorry. I will just put it up on the board. Alright. Okay, ayan po. Okay, this is ayan. This is actually the live telecast, okay? Ayan. Alright. Okay, there you go. Yeah, this is actually a television screen seen through the window of a residential apartment, okay, showing a live broadcast of Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong delivering his National Day rally speech in Singapore diba, last August 21. Sinabi po niya, Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong announced the country will repeal a colonial-era law criminalizing gay sex, though he maintained that the government will continue to uphold marriage as being between a man and a woman. Okay? inherited from the British colonial era, Section 377A of Singapore's Penal Code penalizes sex between men with up to 2 years in jail. Okay? Gay rights campaigners have long said the law runs afoul of the affluent city-state's increasingly modern and vibrant culture and had mounted two unsuccessful legal challenges. During a major policy speech last Sunday, Lee said attitudes have shifted. Nagbago na raw po ang attitude since 15 years ago when the government decided, okay, the law should remain although it has not been actively enforced. Gay people are now better accepted in Singapore locally, especially among younger Singaporeans, okay? It is timely to ask ourselves again the fundamental question: should sex between men in private be a criminal offense? Okay, and yun ang katanungan doon. The government will repeal Section 377A and decriminalize sex between men. I believe this is the right thing to do and something that most Singaporeans will accept. Sinabi pa ng Prime Minister ng Singapore that this will bring the law into line with current social mores, and I hope provide some relief to gay Singaporeans, okay? However, the repeal of Section 377A stops short of full marriage equality. Hindi pa rin po pinapayagan ng same-sex marriage sa Singapore. Lee said the government recognizes that most Singaporeans do not want the repeal to trigger a drastic shift in our societal norms across the board, including how marriage is defined and how it is taught in schools, okay? Even as we repeal Section 377A, we will uphold and safeguard the institution of marriage. They still believe in that. He stressed that under the law, only marriages between one man and one woman will be recognized in Singapore. Okay, the government also amends Singapore's constitution to keep this definition of marriage from being challenged constitutionally in the courts. We're seeing still a long road to equality. Diba? We were talking about gender equality the other day. The first attempt to overturn the law was rejected in 2014. The Court of Appeals dismissed the second challenge last February. Okay, ahead of Lee's speech, an alliance of Protestant churches in Singapore had warned Friday against removing the law, which it described as a marker for many social and moral considerations. Okay, sinabi pa nila, repealing the law without safeguards facilitates the progress of a brand of intolerant and aggressive LGBT activism, which seeks to impose its ideology upon Singapore society. Expressing relief over the government's decision after Lee's speech Sunday, gay rights and campaigners called the repeal of Section 377A as the first step on a long road towards full equality for LGBTQ plus people in Singapore. Okay? But the true impact of repeal will be determined by how the people of Singapore respond to it and treat each other in the days and months to come, they said in a joint statement signed by more than 20 groups. They also took aim at the government's plan to enshrine the definition of marriage between a man and a woman into Singapore Constitution, heeding calls from city-states religious conservatives. Any move by government to introduce further legislation or constitutional amendments that signal LGBTQ plus people as unequal citizens is disappointing. Ulitin ko, no? Any move by the government now to introduce further legislation or constitutional amendments that signal LGBTQ plus people as unequal citizens is disappointing. Talaga naman. Such a decision will undermine the circular character of our Constitution, codify further discrimination into supreme law, and tie the hands of future parliament. Ito po ay sa Singapore. In 2018, India's Supreme Court decriminalized gay sex by overturning legislation from its own period under British rule, a decision that spurred campaigners in Singapore to renew their efforts to challenge the law. The following year, Taiwan took the unprecedented decision in May to legalize same-sex marriage. Sa Taiwan pa nauna, becoming the first place in Asia to do so. Social talaga yung doon, presidente or prime minister ng Taiwan na babae. Yuhu! Alright? Talagang babae seems to be quick decision makers, right? Anyway, so with that said, all right, uh, so Florida leaves the Philippines, but signal number 1 is still up over parts of northern Luzon. So, umalis na po pala. Okay? Severe tropical storm Florida has left the Philippine area of responsibility. It was last spotted 335 kilometers west of Calayan, Cagayan, or outside the PAR. Okay? Buti naman. Okay. Alright? Okay, in connection naman to COVID po, okay, yung mga nagpapatanong na kailangan ba pa-booster every 6 months? Well, the DOH says, okay, COVID-19 vaccines with extended shelf life are still safe and effective, okay? The DOH assures the public that COVID-19 vaccines with extended shelf life are effective and safe. The government ensures that every vaccine that is injected with an extended shelf life has gone through studies and testings, okay? So wag po kayong mabahala, and is still safe and effective against COVID-19. The DOH said this in a public advisory on Tuesday kahapon po. It noted that an evaluation on vaccines is being conducted before extending their shelf life. So bago po yun i-extend, binigyan na muna mo ng ano yan, examination at testing. The process of extending shelf life goes through a thorough stability study, okay? The DOH issued the advisory after it received reports that some people are hesitant to take the vaccines because of the extension on the shelf life. Feeling nila expired na, okay? There are those who are skeptical about the vaccines that are now given to the public because of the extended shelf life that has not been changed on the label of each vial of the vaccine. Almost 72.3 million Filipinos have already been fully vaccinated as of August 18, the DOH said. Meanwhile, the more than 17.3 million individuals who have received their first booster dose and over 1.9 million have received their second booster. Okay? Alright. So, yun po. So, on this note, okay, we would like to continue our subject matter regarding yung pong cybersecurity that we were talking about, okay? That are back to basics lessons regarding protecting our system, okay? Ano po yung sinabi natin kahapon, no? Na ang foundation of basic computer security principles, all right? Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna put this away. Thank you very much. I'll just put it away. All right. So we go back to the basic foundation of basic computer security principles that we were talking about yesterday. Okay. Paano isi-secure, paano iproprotektahan ang ating mga systems because of all these mga hacking going on. All right. So sinabi natin confidentiality, integrity, availability. Okay. The protection of information against unauthorized access. Integrity, the protection of information against unauthorized modification of data, and availability, the protection of your ability to access your information. Hello there, Miss Mylene Menes. Hello, good morning. Welcome po sa Buhay Online. Have a great day to you too. I'm already having a great day. At lalo pat nakita ko kayo, mas lalong mabuti ang aking araw. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for always supporting, okay? Hindi lang po dito, kundi sa lahat po ng programa ng Broad Stream Cast Communicators po. Abangan niyo po dahil ano po kami, we have plans for, kasi mag-anniversary na naman po kami sa September. We're gonna be 2 years and with that, when we have our second year anniversary po, marami pong mga pagbabago na mangyayari dito sa Broad Stream Cast Communicators. So, abangan niyo po yan. So, going back to what I was saying po, diba, inano natin yung better noon itong CIA triad model. It serves as the foundation of cybersecurity. So ano na yung pinag-usapan natin? So how can we, there's always, diba, how are we going to do that? Unang-una sinabi natin, remove all, okay, yan po. Remove all unnecessary applications, okay? Ako po, guilty po ako sa napakadaming bukas na tabs, napakadaming bukas na applications running. Reduce the attack surface on the computer by removing unnecessary software applications. Tanggalin niyo po yung mga hindi niyo ginagamit na mga apps, okay? Do the same on your smartphone by uninstalling all of the apps you don't want or need, okay? Tanggalin niyo po yung mga hindi niyo kailangan, alright? Sandali lang po. Oops, okay? Bakit ba? Ano nangyari dito? Ayan, tanggalin niyo yung hindi niyo kailangan, right? So, uninstall it. Apps you don't want, apps you don't need. Some you are baked into the OS though, okay? Yung iba hindi niyo ma-uninstall. Pag napansin niyo, pag in-install niyo, hindi magpa-function yung telepono niyo or computer. So, be careful din po yung naalisin niyo na app. Kung hindi kayo sure, tanong po kayo sa anak niyo na magaling sa IT kung ito ba yung app na to na nasa phone niyo ay kasi 'di ba there are apps already that are embedded on your phone na hindi mo pwedeng tanggalin, nasa operating system. Okay? So some are baked into your OS or operating system which requires more advanced skill and knowledge to erase. So yun na nga, kailangan mong magtanong sa expert. Huwag mong basta burahin yun dahil baka hindi na mag-function yung phone mo. Alright? The Windows OS or OS po means operating system. Okay? For example, ang Windows operating system is preloaded with bloatware. Okay? Bloatware. B-L-O-A-T-W-A-R-E. Bloatware. That a lot of users don't know exists. Okay? Hindi po natin alam to na we're not aware of this, na meron palang bloatware ang Windows. Okay? Alright? A lot of users don't know it exists, let alone want it on their computers, diba? Think of every service and application running on your computer and smartphone as a unique avenue of attack. Talaga naman, it is an access point, diba? Often with their own unique port numbers they use as a channel to communicate on, okay? Uninstall program applications that you don't use because otherwise it could be a way inside your system for attackers. Diba? Yung pong mga app na hindi nyo kailangan, isara nyo or uninstall nyo na kasi yan po ang gateway ng mga ibang hackers, attackers, cybercriminals. If they are unpatched vulnerabilities that can be exploited. O, hindi natin intindihan yung mga unpatched na yan, okay? All OS types, okay, have similar vulnerabilities, okay? Lahat po ng mga, diba, operating system, merong mga vulnerabilities or kahinaan, alright? Mac users used to think that Macs didn't have viruses or malware, right? They've been claiming before ng mga Apple daw ay hindi na ba-virusan. Wrong, hindi na po yan totoo, okay? Mac users used to think that they are invincible or not vulnerable, but that they don't have viruses or malware. Then cyber criminals began focusing on that operating system. Ano nangyari? Sa galing ng mga hackers, sa galing ng mga cyber criminal, they found a way to hack Apple and Macs. So, hindi totoo na hindi sila, na virus-free sila, okay? Every OS type is susceptible to malware. Patch your systems, people, okay? You have to patch your systems. So, lahat po ng OS ay vulnerable, di ba? Kasi ganun kagaling ang mga hacker, okay? Ganun nakagaling. Because there's a way to infiltrate your system, no matter what operating system you are using, okay? Ang operating system po is yun nga, Windows, o kaya Apple, o sa telepono nyo, Android, or Apple pa rin, okay? The principle of least privilege, okay? Ano yung sabihin? Least privilege is just as it sounds, okay? Yung sabihin nun, it involves giving a user the minimum system access and permissions. Kaya nga, bigyan nyo ng least or pinakamaliit na chance pa itong mga hacker na to or attackers, okay? For individuals using a computer at home, okay, diba? giving them the user the minimum system access and permissions they need in order to perform whatever job-related tasks their specific role requires, okay? For individuals, kunyari mga gumagamit ng computer sa bahay, this principle doesn't have a lot of significance, okay? But it can be useful to remember if you have kids, diba? If you don't lock down and monitor your kids' computer and smartphones, they will eventually find their way into trouble or abuse the technology in some way. Talagang nangyayari na po yan, di ba? Too much information sa ating mga anak, mga kabataan, dyan sa internet. Don't fault yourself as a parent. Huwag niyo rin sisihin ang sarili niyo dahil hindi po talaga tayo pwedeng tumutok ng 24 hours sa tinitignan ng anak natin sa cellphone nila or sa computer nila, sa laptop nila. Diba? We all did the same thing when we were their age, okay? But now, there are some really dangerous threats. Iba na nung araw na tayo yung bata sa ngayon dahil ang internet po talaga, ang technology, pwede niyong gamitin sa good and bad. Diba? Ayan nga, kaya nga may mga hackers tsaka may mga predators, mga sexual predators dyan sa mga bata. Nung araw, diba? Walang ganyan. Yung mga nakikita niyong sexual predators, yung mga manyakis dun sa eskwela na pumupunta. But now, it's all online and virtual. That can become reality because nakakausap nila isa't isa, nakakapag on camera. So, there are so many dangerous threats online like child predators, cyberbullying, financial scams that less wise children are more apt to fall victim to. Madali pong mabiktima yung mga walang kaalaman ng mga bata, okay? So, by all means, it is a good idea to use this principle of least privilege when it comes to configuring computer devices for your kids, okay? Set parental controls, okay? Sa mga anak niyo, lagyan niyo ng parental controls, parental guidance, lagyan niyo ng lock, and monitor their activity. Pwede nyo yung gawin, okay? During the school week, kunyari, ako noon, nung lumalaki yung anak ko, tina-shut off ko yung kanyang, yung tablet niya, okay? O yung tina-turn off ko yung internet para wag na lang magamit ng bata pa siya at a certain time so that they can sleep, no? Pero syempre, pag tumanda na yun, nung marunong na mag-hack yung anak ko ng system, kahit anong palit ko ng password dati sa Wi-Fi, nalalaman pa rin niya, okay? Tapos, okay. So, yun ang unang-una. Remove all unnecessary applications. Number 2, okay? Defense in depth. Sandali nga. Ilalagay ko para makita nyo. Alright, so unang-una was delete those applications, alright? Dali lang. Alright, thank you. I'm just gonna take it. Hold on. Patience lang po, sandali. Okay, I'm just gonna get it. Ba't wala dito? Hold on. Wait a minute. Sorry. Pasensya na po. I just don't know where I put it. Hold on. Where did I put this topic? Cybersecurity. Okay. So, yeah. So, pwede po na kayo mag-share ng experience ng anak mo na unang pumasok today. Okay. There you go. Okay. Ayan po. Sige. So, sinabi natin na unang-una is to delete those apps, no? Sabi natin, remove all unnecessary applications. At sunod, ito yung sunod, defense in depth. Okay? Ensure your computer's operating system or OS is up to date by determining whether updates need to be installed. Okay? So ensure that the computer's operating system is up to date by determining whether updates need to be installed. Pasensya na po. Malakas ang hangin po, may bagyo. Number 2, antivirus Avast has an excellent free version. Okay? Ito po, kunin niyo yung antivirus Avast, A-V-A-S-T. Has an excellent free version, but really, any AV vendor that is top rated should do the trick. You want daily scans of your computer, smartphone, as every day there are millions of new strains of malware released into the wild. Kung meron iba-ibang strain ng COVID-19, yung malware po, yung malicious software, ay meron ding iba-ibang strains. Araw-araw pinapakalat yan sa internet. Okay? Anti-spyware software po, like the free version of Spybot, is also a good idea to use. Okay? So, maghanap na po kayo, lagay na kayo ng antivirus, yung Avast, magaling na brand, tsaka yung anti-spyware software like Spybot. Yan, libre. Diba? Changing default account passwords. Ang sunod po, changing your passwords. Okay? From time to time po talaga importante yung BDO. After a certain time, pinapapalit yung password. Wala tayong magagawa. Yan po ang mas safe na thing to do. Ako ilang beses palit ng palit. Ang problema nga, ang hirap maalala. Sulat ako ng sulat sa papel, sulat ako ng sulat somewhere. Ayaw mo naman kasing iwanan din online yung password mo, di hello, baka ma-hack, right? So, ikaw na dapat magtanda, no? So, changing default account passwords, okay? One of the first things, okay, you should do on your home Wi-Fi router or any electronic device actually is to update the firmware and change the admin default password on it. See? Pati ang Wi-Fi po, dapat pinapalitan ng password kasi pwede rin i-hack ng mga criminal yan. Remember, you're connecting it to the internet where it can and probably will be scanned for vulnerabilities by anyone from anywhere in the world. O, isipin mo ha, talaga. If they discover you're using the default password, they can break into your router and your system. I think ganyan na nangyari sa akin sa hack ng ng ATM ko. Hindi ako makapag-apply ng ATM na palaging nananakawan. Ano ba yan? Laging ninanakaw. Okay? They can break into your router and your system. That's really no good. Don't let that happen. Okay? And ano pang sunod? Enabling automatic updates. Ayun. Pag nakakita mo ng updating software, blah, 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 payagan nyo, okay? This one is pretty self-explanatory in my humble opinion, okay? Update your software frequently or suffer the consequences of exploits or viruses. The best way to stay up to date is to enable automatic updates. Pero minsan, lagi ako nawawala ng memory sa phone ko. Hindi kasyang i-update. Palagi akong kailangan magtanggal ng something, okay? Alright. Next, use a password manager, all right? It is still a best practice to use long passwords or better yet, passphrases. But also, it's just as important that you never use the same password or passphrase twice, okay? So how is everyone supposed to remember all of those passwords? Ayun na nga ang tanong dyan. Mahirap matandaan sa kakapalit, right? Easy. Use a reputable password manager service such as 1Password or LastPass. Ayun pala. 1Password, number 1, password. Ang isang word po yun, 1Password or LastPass. Ito po ang pangalan ng mga password manager. Both of which offer free service levels, okay? You only have to set one really good passphrase that is called your master password, which will serve as a decryption key to unlock all the rest of your passwords. Pero parang scary yata yun. Hello? Parang nakakatakot. Na isa lang siya, ma-unlock na lahat ng password. Yikes. I know that some people are adverse to this concept. Ayun na nga, me included po, katakot. Due to the fact that it will it's like putting all your eggs in one basket. Talaga naman. Seems it's parang dangerous. But password managers are as safe a bet as any other password memory method. Okay? Do not enable saved passwords in your browser. This is just asking to be hacked. In fact, anyone who gets a hold of your computer in an unlocked state will have access to your passwords in your browser. Yun pala yun eh. Pag nakasave yung mga auto-login mo, kaya ka madali kang ma-hack nun. Alright? If an attacker is able to remotely compromise your machine through malware or some other means, they will have access to these passwords. Oh my gosh. Alright. Okay. KeePass offers a free locally stored password vault. Okay, so ano na yun mga yun? Tandaan ko, ang pangalan ay yung para sa password. One password at saka LastPass. Tataguin ko nga yung information na yun. One password saka LastPass. Alright. Ano lang po, for info. Alright? KeePass offers a free locally stored password vault. Ito pa, KeePass. K-E-E-P-A-S-S. Oh, ayun pa pala. KeePass. K-E-E-P-A-S-S. Alright. Sinasave ko na yon. Okay? KeePass Password Safe is another option that works with both your computer and your mobile phone. Oh, maganda. What's different about KeePass, KEEPASS, is that you can download the password manager application to your computer or smartphone or both and save all of your passwords locally in an encrypted vault on your C drive, which is better than storing them on a website, diba? In a web browser, writing them down somewhere or saving your passwords to a text file and protecting it with a password. Writing your passwords down is not entirely unsafe, but most people are lazy and just leave them on a yellow sticky note someplace next to your computer or under the keyboard. Though this may seem like the easy option, it is a surefire way to get your account compromised. If you do this at work, you could face disciplinary action. Okay? One of the best things about using a password manager is that changing passwords is very easy. Oh, you want a 50-character password with upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols, etc. No problem. Bibigyan ka nito ng 50 choices of them to choose from. Also, there are built-in features, okay, that will test the strength of your password and check if there are repeated elsewhere, which could allow an attacker to perform what is known as credential stuffing. On different websites, one of your compromised passwords from some other data breach password dump. You don't want that happening, so it's best to just get into the habit now of using unique passwords for each website you have an account with, okay? Remember also that less is more on the internet. If you don't need to create an account on a website or enter personal information, then don't. You don't know how safe your personal information is being protected by the website owner, or if there's a malicious insider stealing or leaking sensitive data. The less information you publish about yourself, the better off your privacy is, okay? Tapos ano pa? Itong paggamit ng use two-factor authentication, okay? Paggamit ng two-factor authentication or 2FA. This one should go without saying, but a lot of people kasi seem to have a hard time ditong practice na to. Ano yung sabihin nito? Passwords are a weak form of protection. They always have been, but it hasn't been until recently that technological advancements have allowed for stronger security measures to be implemented. Yung two-factor is, meron siyang parang yung mga questions na tatanungin, kung i-verify kung ikaw nga yung naglalogin, tapos meron pa yung yung CAPTCHA, yun nga yung picture na identify mo kung hindi ka robot, kung hindi ka bot, hindi ka AI. It's nearly 2020. Okay. Well, nung 2020 po, no, nung araw po, unheard of po ito. Pero, it's already lampas na, na po tayo ngayon. If you're still relying on passwords to keep all of your online secrets, then I dare that you, old-fashioned na to. Ang mga password po are the first line of defense. But be smart and take the 2 minutes it takes to set up a 2FA on your account, specifically for really important accounts like online banking. So, dapat may two-factor authentication. Ayan po yung parang may extra step. Kunyari, nalagay mo na yung password mo, biglang may tatanong pa sa'yo ulit bago mo buksan. And that is really good for your e-banking things. Alright? Tapos ano pa, isa yung firewalls, okay? Having some type of firewall is important if you're going to be connected to the internet, okay? Since most of us do not use a standalone computer, having a firewall is important so that it blocks potentially harmful malware and attacks on your system. Most OS or operating systems come with their own firewall, okay? Masyado ba ako mabilis magsalita? Minsan I am not aware of it so much, but I hope people are understanding me well. So far naman, so good actually. Okay, so yeah, so yung firewall system, di ba? Make sure po na, okay, kasi most OS comes with their own firewall, but you can also download and configure free versions like pfSense. pfSense, ayan, yan ang firewall. Itago natin po yan. Ilista nyo dyan. Yung pfSense na firewall. Ang firewall naman to. Ano yun? Spelling yan. Maliit na P, maliit at malaki. PF na maliit, lowercase, tapos sense, yung S po niya capital, ENSE. Okay? So, ang capital lang po ay yung S. PF sense po ang tawag dito. Okay? Para sa firewall. Ayan. So, dinote ko na rin po. Okay? So, yan. Lagyan niyo ng firewall. If you're running Windows, it's perfectly fine to use the Windows Defender firewall that comes free with that operating system ng Windows. Microsoft has worked hard to make Windows Defender very competitive with other paid firewall and antivirus products. If you prefer to use another antivirus product, such as Avast Premium Security or Malwarebytes or Kaspersky, ayan po yung magagandang brand, when you install, if you will have to give it permission to manage your firewall settings. However, you're still able to modify the settings as you like, or you can use the default settings. So ano po yun? Ita-type ko yun, ano yung magagandang brand ng antivirus. Avast Premium Security. Okay? Ayan, sulat ko. Okay, ita-type ko dito. Avast Premium Security. Malwarebytes. Tsaka yung Kaspersky. Ayan, yan po ang mga noted brands ng antivirus na magagaling na pwede nyong gamitin para sa inyong setup, okay? Windows Defender Firewall po, ang Windows meron nila siyang sarili, okay? So, itong last po na sasabihin ko, dahil hindi pa tayo tapos, may dalawa pa. Well, sabihin ko na, lock your computer or device when you're not present. I-lock nyo po pagka wala kayo sa computer nyo. Siguraduhin yung i-lock. Physical security is integral to computer security. Without it, any notion of computer security you thought you had completely unravels. Therefore, i-lock nyo po. Paano mag-lock ng computer? Control L. Diba? Press window key plus L simultaneously pala. Sorry, hindi pala. Yung Windows key, yung apat na bintana. Press Windows key and L simultaneously. Ayun ang pag-lock. Okay? Press the Windows key plus L simultaneously. Okay? To unlock it, your computer, the proper password or PIN should be required. Okay? Don't use password. Right? Okay? So, ang last po, beware of suspicious emails and attachments and links. Okay? Yun po. Be aware of that kasi yun po yung mga phishing. So with that note po, natapos muna natin po today itong issue natin about cybersecurity, going down to the basics of securing yourself. Patutuloy po natin ito bukas. Thank you so much for joining me for today dito sa Buhay Online. Po, interesting and exciting po ang ating mga topics. Ang dami ko po na context at saka email regarding this. Thank you very much for joining me. At the end of the day, 3 things should remain in our lives po, and that is faith, hope, and love. Maraming salamat po. At magkita-kita po tayo bukas ulit. Thank you.
Inyong natunghayan at napakinggan ang mga